is Awareness Technologies. We've been around a long time, 14 years, headquartered in Westport, Connecticut, about 40 miles east of New York City. And what we have is a unique solution architected with 3 core principles in mind. Number 1, it's complete, 4 technologies, and 1 to solve a whole host of problems, an insider threat, invisibility, posture, perspective at the endpoint. Obviously, it's an endpoint security solution, and very easy to use, very easy to configure. So we have over 10,000 customers in numerous vertical markets across the globe. We're not restricted to any specific segment. I'm not restricted to any specific segment. So if you have business coming from the SLED side of the house, or the Fed side of the house, or the mid-enterprise side of the house, I will take all comers. So just keep that in mind. We have had over 150 new corporate clients per month, and we have over 750 worldwide partners. We have, obviously, distributor relationships with Ingram and FineTech, Fortinet's #1 distribution partner. When we're talking about key internal threats to structure this argument here, the first thing we want to look at is employee productivity, looking at what people are doing at these endpoints, if they're going on inappropriate websites, if they're looking at non-work-related programs, work programs for side businesses. We had a customer a little while back who caught his CIO stealing their entire customer database and moving it over to his own consulting firm, so that's something we definitely want to take a look at there. Zero-day threat vectors. We're going to dive into this in a little bit more detail shortly, but obviously we all know what that is. Vulnerabilities in software allowing hackers to take control of applications in order to conduct reconnaissance, begin data exfiltration operations using legitimate credentials to conduct these types of nefarious exploits. We have our own fully robust data leakage module. We'll go through that a little bit too if time permits. So we'll be able to protect sensitive information from these endpoint devices and VDIs. We do work in Zen Desktop and vSphere environments. And of course, our product is perfect when you're talking about remediation efforts for customers, when you're talking about bolstering their compliance and investigation programs. Again, obviously, we're going to be able to monitor and block PCI, HIPAA, protected health information, SOX compliance. We'll be able to add a significant aspect to your endpoint security investigations with our particular product. So there's some facts here. 80.4%, I like this statistic, it's so specific. 80.4% of 2,063 people surveyed waste time on non-work-related activities. That's according to Voice over IP Business Insider. 60% of exiting employees walk out with company information. Laptop workstation risks due to inside error and lack of judgment. That means employee errors that lead to data loss is a top threat at 56% survey. Now, I was recently at Exchange 2016. We were manning FineTech's booth together. And this was a topic that was presented in the talk presented by IDC Research. And interestingly enough, most of that talk was focused on endpoint security. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Insiders are responsible for 70% of security incidents that incur losses. So let's stay on the zero-day threat vector aspect because this is vastly important. And again, this was bolstered at the IDC Research talk at Exchange in San Antonio, but also this corresponded to a number of cyber weapons reports that I looked at recently here. The number 2 threat vector, according to what IDC's partners are saying, what their customers are reporting back to them, at the endpoint behind new malware infections are hackers gaining credentials to legitimate network tools. So what do we mean by that? So just taking a look at, and we could talk about SSH clients like Secure CRT. We could talk about other tools like PuTTY, which, by the way, are being used by hackers right now to exploit environments, conduct reconnaissance, and begin data exfiltration operations. But just taking a look at RDP programs only, these are the top 5 remote desktop applications that are currently being exploited by hackers. TeamViewer is number 1, believe it or not. I've talked to a lot of people, probably some of you guys here already, about this threat. There is a zero-day vulnerability, TeamViewer 11.0, a Windows browser fast view executable which is primary methodology by which somebody can pass presenter privileges back and forth to users inside of a team viewer session. It's currently being exploited by hackers 37% of the time because the company has not yet patched it for political reasons or some internal issue. Obviously, WinDNC is second. So obviously here, we want to be able to create a situation using our product at the endpoint to shut down a hacker's ability to take command and control of these applications, including if they happen to commandeer legitimate credentials, which could happen due to a targeted spear phishing attack, as an example. We're going to show you a very cool way we do that shortly. So other facts here, this corresponds to our laptop cop module where we can remote in and pull data off remote devices. 600,000 laptops are lost or stolen annually in the U.S. Less than 3% are recovered. 68% of healthcare data breaches are due to theft or device theft or loss. So we want to be able to have a way to pull that data off there. 35 states have enacted security breach notifications. Well, as you guys all know, working with InfoSec teams, the biggest thing they want is the ability to have notifications and alerts when something happens. And they also want to know the who, what, where, and how of a hack or an attack, okay? But notifications are a big part of this. 62% of CIOs leak data leakage from endpoints to be a top driver of the security spending. 1 out of 2 companies, even if all the devices are in the same domain and they're being managed by the firewall rules, even on that note, 1 out of 2 companies still lose data on USB drives, believe it or not. Fear of data loss is the top information security challenge for the next 12 months, okay? And corresponding with that, DLP is second behind firewall management as one of the top information security projects over the next 12 months as well. So again, this data loss thing, this focus on the endpoint is a really big deal. And again, this is an evolution I've seen over the past few years where, constantly restricted budgets, CIOs are saying, okay, what other things can we do with our budget to bolster our security? And a lot of this also has been moved to the forefront from an endpoint perspective because of what Google did about a year and a half ago. They moved to a Forrester Research's model of zero trust. And obviously, most of you know what that is. Basically, we don't trust any single asset inside or outside of our network. We don't trust our internal users, both physical bodies, both legitimate credentials, which could be, as we know, commandeered to do nefarious things. We don't trust any one appliance. We don't test a load balancer with SSL packet inspection to prevent all ransomware attacks. We don't always 100% of the time trust our IDS rules on our firewall to prevent all new infections. What Google believes is that we have redundant layers of security, and when we're talking about the endpoint, which is where our product perfectly fits into, we create layers of security, okay, next-gen technologies like ours to make it virtually impossible for a hacker to ever be able to gain a substantial beachhead inside of the network, because they literally have to commandeer hundreds of devices at the same time, commandeer hundreds of applications in order to be able to maintain enough persistence inside of the network. But also, again, as we just noticed from this presentation here so far, a lot of the security errors that happen are due to user errors, whether they're not conforming to company protocols about not or about going to websites they shouldn't go to, okay, conducting activities like non-work related activities, where if they go to a website that they're trying to buy something off eBay, maybe they are the subject of a phishing attack and they click on a link that looks like an eBay site, but in fact it's actually sending a packet to that particular machine to then allow the hacker to gain control of that unit and then start filtering information. So we want to be able to monitor all this, and the endpoint is the future of where we're going to be able to line up our troops to be able to stop these exploits. Great discussion on security posture for the last 15 years. We all know about this story. Individual Solutions morphed into the Unified Threat Management Appliance. Fortinet has some very, very great products. Obviously, I know this because I worked there for over 3 years. And as we moved on to the next-gen firewalls, now as we are seeing, there is a move to really bolster the endpoint, put multiple layers of next-gen technology on here to make it very difficult for hackers to penetrate these systems. And that's where our product comes into. As you can see here, it's a fusion of 4 different technologies. We have our own home-baked data loss prevention piece, which is holistically at the endpoint only. Our own wholly built web filtering module, complete with IP reputation, by the way, IP blacklisting and whitelisting. Our monitoring software, you're going to see the power of that shortly. We monitor every single bit of activity at the endpoint, device, and VDI level. Again, Zen Desktop and vSphere environments we work in. And our laptop recovery module, which allows IT administrators, InfoSec guys to remote into target devices and pull sensitive data off, especially those devices that have been stolen. So the net here for technologies, one download, one interface. Key principles to take away here. We already talked about the fusion of four technologies. We're going to solve the entire internal threat problem of legitimate users, both legitimate credentials being used for nefarious purposes, the whole kit and caboodle, safeguarding your sensitive data. Works both on and off network. That's a critical piece, guys. Even if the device does not have an active Wi-Fi signal to it, our agents will continue to record data based on security policies that you put into place. They will be working at the endpoint device where the agents are, and once the Wi-Fi signal is restored, they will do a data dump back to the cloud. Okay, critical for today's mobile workforce. And ease of use, 3 deployment options. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Basically, we have our cloud at AWS, so for SMB clients, no problem if they don't want to use their internal enterprise, or if they don't have a Windows Enterprise server with a SQL backend database 2008 or greater, no problem. Use our cloud at AWS. We have the ability to allow large customers to host this internally. Okay, so basically we have an application which will load our database objects into their internal SQL database. And also for MSSPs, some of you here might be interested in, this is a perfect solution to add to your portfolio of cloud offerings because we can give you the software to manage the solution internally.